Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are in the firing range. Yes, that's right, I built myself a little firing range because I was sick of standing outdoors shooting at dummies. Today we're bringing you a slightly updated version of the Power Surge Outer Space build. Just a few little optimizations, a few little changes that I've noticed and some of you guys in the comments have noticed, so thank you very much if you've left a helpful comment. Let's get into it and have a quick look. So obviously the main weapon, the Outer Space, brilliant weapon, does a lot of damage, 25% chance to trigger Power Surge when hitting, after defeating an enemy, Power Surge chance plus 30% based on weapon's trigger chance, after reloading, Power Surge chance plus 40% based on weapon's trigger chance for 3 seconds, and Power Surge chance plus 40% based on weapon's trigger chance. So this doesn't mean you get 25, then plus 30% to make it 55. You get 25, then plus 30% of 25. So it's very awkwardly worded with these Power Surge weapons. So for the secondary, we're using the Bullseye, mainly for the Bullseye effect. Very nice, free damage. And the Long Axe, which we're using for the Heavy Attack Fortress Warfare activation, because it's very handy. So let's go and have a look at the mods quickly for the weapons. So on the Outer Space, we're using Static Shock. This is just the best one for Power Surge builds. It's great. So the status duration minus 50%. We don't care about the status duration. We don't actually care about the status. It's all about the damage. And it puts the damage up by 20%, which is really nice. Obviously, I've got Power Surge suffix on this one. A Talents one would do just as well if you haven't got a Power Surge. And that goes for all of these mods. All of the mods, you want a talent on it. So this is giving me plus 4.8%. Damage against Great Ones, really nice. And then for the Bullseye, we're using the Vulnerability Amplifier. So the Bullseye adds Vulnerability 8%. It's just free 8% damage, just for hitting, which is nice. And then the mod on the Long Axe, we're using Final Territory. So when Fortress Warfare ends, weapon damage plus 8% movement. Weapon damage plus 8% and movement speed plus 8% for 10 seconds. I don't know if that actually activates when you switch weapons, but just in case, we've got it there because honestly, there's nothing else to put on there. It doesn't matter. So that's the weapon setup. So let's look at the armor. So we're going for our key piece. We're using the Mayfly goggles. It's really nice. Power Surge trigger count plus 1. Power Surge damage minus 30%. So what this means is every time you trigger Power Surge, instead of getting 1 tick, you're getting 2 ticks. So it does bring the Power Surge damage down by 30%, but then you're getting it twice, so technically it's a plus 70%, really. And it also combos very well with something I'm going to show you a little bit later on. Okay, so we're going with 4-piece Shelterer set. So this is just really nice for any elemental build. You get your 1-piece, doesn't matter. 2-piece, you get your elemental damage plus 8%. For 3 pieces, each weapon hit grants 1 stack of Deviant Energy. Every stack of Deviant Energy grants 1% elemental damage. Effect can stack up to 20 times. Reloading removes half total stacks. And then you can't quite see it, but if you get 4 pieces, you get an extra 10 stacks, so it can go up to 30, so that's 30% extra damage, and hitting a weak spot counts as 2. So you can get those stacks up really fast, especially with a high fire rate weapon like this. You're gonna permanently be at 30%, even taking half off for reloading, etc. So we've got 4-piece there, and then we're running 1-piece Renegade Jacket. So we used to run the Bastille for the extra weapon damage when above 90%, but honestly, the reload speed really helps. You'll be reloading a lot with this weapon to trigger certain effects. So having that reload speed is actually very handy. Plus, we're not relying on weapon damage, we're relying on elemental damage. Okay, so on to the mods. So in our goggles, we are running Deviation Expert Talent. So it's minus 25% range, plus 10% rate of fire, and then a big status damage plus 20%. And on this one, I've only got a green talent, so the elemental blaze is only up 3.2. If you can get a better one, brilliant. That's the key. That's the key secondary effect you want, is that elemental damage up. Either elemental damage up or status damage up are very good for this build. Onto the mask, we're using Thunderclap. So after triggering Power Surge 20 times, the next hit summons Celestial Thundershock, damage of 200% psi intensity. So this is the thing that triggers, that combos very well with the goggles. Because it says after triggering Power Surge 20 times, so normally that would mean 20 Power Surge hits. But because you've got the Mayfly goggles, every hit counts as 2, so it's only every 10 hits you're going to get this huge Thundershock, big spike of damage. Very, very nice. Again, this is Power Surge. Talent will do just as well. For the jacket, we're using the Blue Flame Resonance. Status damage plus 12%. It's really the only offensively aligned mod that you can use. All the top mods are very defensive. If you've got one with really, really good substats, like, I don't know, +6 status effect, +6 elemental, reload speed, stuff like that, maybe you'll go with that, but this one's really easy to get hold of. It's only a blue one, and yeah, it gives you +12 status damage. On to the pants. We're using Status Amplification. So when the magazine is empty, status damage +10 for 12 seconds, and it can stack up to 3 times. With this weapon, you're going to be reloading a lot and very quickly. So you're very, very quickly going to get those 3 stacks, which is going to give you an extra 30% status damage. Very good. Synergizes very well with the build. Probably the best in slot. And again, it's a talent suffixed, so we get Elemental Blade 8%. Nice. On the gloves, Elemental Overload talents. So there is some discussion about whether you should this one or the +20% status damage. I find this one to do slightly more damage. It could just be because of the substats. So really, either one, whichever one you have that has better substats, go with that one. There's not much in it. So this is just a flat elemental damage plus 18%. And again, you can see the rolls on that. I've got elemental damage up and I've got status damage up. So having both of those on one is really, really nice. And for the shoes, as with pretty much any build, you run covered advance. It's kind of the only choice for any build. You want that on your shoes. So taking no damage within 4 seconds grants +20% melee, weapon, and status damage for 30 seconds. The effect resets when the duration ends. So also, once you've got that effect triggered, it doesn't matter if you take damage. It's only those 4 seconds. If you take damage within those 30 seconds when the buff's active, it won't discontinue the buff. You still get it. And again, this one's really nice. I've got the elemental damage up and the status damage up. Very, very nice. And now we will look at the cradle we have set up. So for our cradle, we're using automatic weapon enhancement, +20% damage when holding rifle. I'm using advantage barrier. Hitting weak spots or reloading grants a shield equal to 30% of max hit points. While shield is active, weapon damage reduction, +15%. It's just a little bit of survivability. Deviation master, with the deviation as present, damage against great ones, +25%. Tactical combo, weapon damage, +25% for 4 seconds after switching weapons or reloading. Again, this is going to be a permanent buff, really, with this build. We've got transient impact after defeating an enemy, power surge damage +25, shock elemental damage +18, lasting 15 seconds. Very handy to have. Most bosses have some kind of mob where you can just like quickly pop one and then carry on with your DPS. Using status enhancement, after hitting a weak spot, status damage +25% for 3 seconds. You'll want to be hitting those weak spots, getting that buff. Using first round blast, after reloading, instant damage, so that's power surge or unstable bomber, +25% for 4 seconds. Again, we're going to be reloading every 4 seconds with this weapon at least, so again, that's going to be another permanent buff. And then we're just going steady hand, while in Fortress Warfare or Fast Gun out, weak spot damage +40, weak spot damage to bullseye +20. So this is just seeing as we have Fortress Warfare and we're going to be trying to hit the weak spots, we might as well be getting that little bit of extra juice out of it. I don't think there's any other really crucial ones. You can probably change this one, the advantage barrier. You can probably change that to whatever you want. You can go Lone Walker, or if you're in a team, you can get the team one. But I think they're all the vital ones that you need. So your rotation is going to go something like this. I'm not putting in food and things like that because I've seen, you see the videos on YouTube. It's like, oh, a billion million damage, and you look at their buffs and they're like triple stacked food, God knows how many other buffs. I want this to be actually combat realistic. So, and just your general everyday damage. So we're just going to do the basic rotation. The basic rotation is going to be heavy axe swing to get your Fortress Warfare, pop on with the bingo, and then go into damage. So you can actually animation cancel the swing as well. So if you start the heavy swing and then switch, you still get the bonuses. Okay, 1 reload, 2 reload, 3 reload, so we're up to our 30% from the reloads. And as you can see, each tick's doing about 2,300. Thunderbolts are doing like 8 to 9,000. It's just really good. So this is at close range. Mid range, it's a little harder to hit weak spots. The damage from the actual shock doesn't drop off. So the actual shock damage should stay the same regardless of distance. It's just a case of, if you can hit, how well you can hit. Obviously the bullet damage drops off, but we're not really concentrating on bullet damage. It's all about that. So there is the build. I don't think there's anything I missed out. Oh, the calibration. Calibration I have on the weapon. I've got a lightweight style, double elemental. You probably want a heavy, but I haven't got one yet. But you definitely want the double elemental on there. These two don't really matter for calibration. And I think that's about it. So, once again, thank you everybody for watching and commenting and liking. The channel's been doing so well since I've been doing What's Human content, and that's all thanks to you guys, the community. It's amazing. Amazing. Can't tell you how good it is. So, yeah. Thank you very much, and I will see you around soon. Take care. Bye-bye.